Peace, chosen ones. Happy Owl Wisdom Wednesday. I hope you all are doing well. This is the Mystic Owl speaking, and tonight's Owl Wisdom Wednesday is about imposter syndrome. What it really is, how it shows up in real life, and how honestly it can be a part of spiritual warfare, especially when you're someone who's waking up, healing, or stepping into your purpose. Imposter syndrome isn't just self-doubt. It's not just low confidence. It's that quiet, persistent voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" Even when you've done the work, even when you have the receipts, even when you survive things that should have broken you but didn't. It has this creepy feeling as if you're about to be found out. Like at any moment, someone's going to realize you're not as capable, as gifted, or as deserving as they think. And the wildest part about all of this is that imposter syndrome often shows up right before major expansion. I've noticed that it hits hardest when you're leveling up, when you're healing generational patterns, when you're finally moving differently than you used to. It shows up when you stop shrinking, when you start questioning things that are going on around you that doesn't make sense, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop asking for permission to exist. From a spiritual perspective, especially in spiritual warfare, imposter syndrome is one of the cleanest tools used to delay destiny. Not destroy it, but definitely delay it. Because if you can be convinced to doubt yourself long enough, you'll hesitate, you'll overthink, you'll procrastinate, you'll abandon momentum, and the enemy doesn't need to take you out if it can just keep you stuck forever. A real world example of this would be when you finally decide to post the content, apply for the job, start the business, speak your truth, set the boundary, whatever it is. And suddenly your mind floods with thoughts like you're not qualified enough, or other people are doing this better, other people have been doing this longer. Too many people are doing this. Who's really going to listen to you? What if you're wrong? Etc., etc. But here's the thing. Those thoughts weren't loud when you were playing small. They didn't show up when you were people pleasing or overgiving or staying silent. They showed up when you stepped into alignment, and that's not random. Imposter syndrome often attaches itself to people who are self-aware, empathetic, intelligent, and especially spiritually sensitive. People who actually care about doing the right things. And unfortunately, that makes you more likely to question yourself instead of bulldozing forward. Another real world example would be you receiving praise, recognition, or success, and instead of feeling proud, you feel uncomfortable. You minimize it and brush it off or say like, "Oh, it was nothing, I just got lucky." You're attributing your growth to chance instead of resilience, discipline, the hard work that you had to put in, the divine protection that looked after you while you were putting in that hard work. That's imposter syndrome convincing you to disconnect from your own story. And spiritually, that disconnection matters because when you forget what you've survived, you forget what you're protected by. And when you forget how far you've come, you forget how guided you actually really are. For me, imposter syndrome has shown up in moments where I know I'm aligned, but my nervous system from previous traumas is still learning safety at a higher level. And that's something that people don't talk about enough. Sometimes the doubt isn't because you're wrong, it's because your body hasn't caught up to your current growth yet. Your spirit can be ready before your conditioning is. And that's where the warfare sneaks in. It's not chaos, but it sneaks in as confusion. Not as fear, but as hesitation. A soft whisper for you to doubt yourself instead of a loud attack. So how do we overcome imposter syndrome? First, we have to stop treating imposter syndrome like it's a personal flaw. It's not proof that you're fake. It's proof that you're expanding beyond all of your old identities. You're no longer operating from who you were when you were just surviving. You're becoming someone who creates, who leads, and who chooses differently. Second, you ground yourself in evidence, not emotion. Feelings can lie to you, especially when you're under pressure. Facts and the truth will never lie. We have to start taking a step back and take a look around at all of the things we've done, at all of the things we've overcome. Look at what you've learned. Look at what you've endured. Look at how many times you adapted when you didn't think you could or that you would. Spiritual warfare loses its power when you start remembering who and what you are. Third, you stop waiting to feel ready. Most people don't feel confident before starting a project. They feel called, and confidence usually comes after the action is done, not before it. And finally, you protect your mind like sacred space because it is. Not everything that enters your thoughts deserves your agreement. Some thoughts are tests, some are echoes, most are projections from external factors, which everyone that's outside of us is an external factor. Some are resistance trying to negotiate your obedience to fear. As the mystic owl, wisdom doesn't come from perfection, it comes from clarity in the dark. Owls see what others miss. They move quietly, intentionally, with precision. And that's the energy I want you to embody the next time imposter syndrome shows up. You don't argue with it, you don't over explain, you don't shrink, you observe it. You move anyway, and you let your consistency speak for you. If you stay to the end, thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to tune in to next week's Our Wisdom Wednesday for more spiritual guidance and insight. And as always, speak life over yourself. Take care of yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, and protect yourself. I love you, chosen ones. Peace.